So my turn 3, again, one of the shots that looked clear on mine, but not on his. If you'll remember, I had my Saurus and Kroxiger unit was right kind of here in the middle. They charged and were just in range. We ended up having to move the hill because we couldn't balance that unit on the hill. So we marked where the edges of the hill were and just kind of pulled the hill out of the way. But his guys are actually up on the hill. My 2 remaining cavalry and my Skinks and Kroxiger charge in there. My Sauruses, the Battle Standard Bearer, has come and joined the small Saurus unit here and charged his dogs, which had rallied. He was going to run again, but center to center, he would have run right into the side of the Skinks and Kroxiger and died if he'd rolled that far. So he basically kind of decided they were dying regardless. He was going to leave them there and see if I could, if I just blew my rolls and he could do a few wounds. The general kept losing the combat here for a couple rounds because he had the ranks and standard and outnumber and everything. But with the Battle Standard Bearer right there, I would get 2 rolls on 6 or 2 rolls on 7 with the 3 dice for leadership, and I just wasn't breaking. And now he's kind of in trouble because I've killed enough guys. There's no champion in there anymore. He's only got 2 ranks, so he's no longer winning the combat by that much. I destroy the... Okay, this is after combat. My unit of Sauruses with the Battle Standard destroy his dogs and come forward. His mages had disassociated from his unit, and one is kind of right back there where his finger is. The other is actually kind of on the side of the Minotaurs, on the right side from my perspective. They pulled out of his units during his last turn because they were trying to move further away from my Battle Standard Bearer, who has the banner that if you're within 18 inches and can see him, you have to make stupidity checks. So that worked all right, except for that mage got overrun by the Skinks and Kroxiger. The cavalry would have clipped the very, very edge of the Minotaur unit, so of course enemy in the way means I need to try to maximize the charge against them when I overrun into the fresh enemy. So I end up hitting them in the center. Okay, on his turn 3, he's going to charge down here. His Razor Gore is going to charge my general because he's starting to lose ranks over here. He's hoping the Razor Gore will do some damage. His big agents of Gore are going to charge my Sauruses with the Battle Standard Bearer. After combat, his lord actually ran away. His lord should have been gone at the end of the last picture. His lord failed the panic test when I destroyed the Gore unit and fled off the board. He just, so he first failed the fear test to charge previously, which would have prevented me from pinning him in the corner, and then he ran off the board with a unit break. Just horrible for him. When his Gores rushed up, they almost completely whiffed their attacks. They did 1 or 2 wounds, which I saved, and I was using spears. The attacks back decimated his unit, so they got run down. The Razor Gore ran up, and I used the Blade of Reality's 2 shots on him. It failed a leadership test, so of course it dies. More attacks into the unit, along with the cards where I finally win by several, and I run that unit down as well. However, the cavalry are butchered by the Minotaur, so on his turn he does get the cavalry. This chariot actually charged my salamanders, but failed its fear test too. It was just amazing how many leadership tests he failed. It was that he shouldn't have failed, and the odds were not. One of my pictures that didn't come out earlier was on my turn 3. I had charged those fleeing, those Ungor who were over there near the table edge. He actually does rally them on his turn 3. On his turn 3, that Gorgon charges into my unit, tries to use his ability to eat one of my guys to get a D3 wounds back because I had shot on the same turn that those guys ran away. My Stegodon had shot his bolt at the Gorgon, hit it, and did 3 wounds. The picture of all of that was far worse than this picture, and this picture isn't good, so I didn't have it in here. So on my turn 4, I charge the dogs with my Stegodons, who run. They ended up clipping the edge of the Pterodons who also declared a charge at them, but the Stegodon was a larger unit strength. And I've forgotten that they would pivot and turn directly away, which means they actually ran into the pterodons and died. The Sauruses put another couple wounds on the Gorgon, so it's up it's up to 5 wounds now, and it whiffed its attacks. And then back over on this side, what I do on my turn is I basically turn everything to face the Minotaurs, and I run the general up so that after the Saurus unit is turned to face, the general's on their left side, so pretty much everything is out of charge arc except for the Sauruses. With the Blade of Realities, those Minotaurs just don't have a high leadership. The previous night when we did this, my guy is frenzied. It is a very hard fight. So he looks at this, realizes Gorgon's about to die, that his Ungors over there on the other side are about to run off. The general now has the marched block Minotaurs. He's definitely going to get to charge them next turn. There's nothing he's going to be able to do, and he concedes at this point because he believes the only unit he's still going to have alive at the end of this turn is the chariot. The Ambersheen Ungors were destroyed when that chariot failed to charge my salamanders. The Ungors charged as well because he was trying to cross charge him. So the chariot fails to charge, the Ungors don't. The Ungors come slamming into the salamanders last turn and died. He just looks at this and shakes my hand and says, "Good job." This tournament, there are 20 battle points, and they have a different breakdown everywhere from a perfect draw as each side gets 10, a complete massacre, which is 1,500 point difference, is 20-0, and that's what I ended up winning. So it was a good game. The leadership roles, he thinks he failed the vast majority of them, and I don't remember if he failed all of them. He did pass a number when he was trying for Primal Fury, but he failed the critical ones, so he was not able to destroy my cavalry. My cavalry kept everybody pinned in the corner, and then his general ran off the board. So with those failures, he just really didn't have a chance once those leadership tests were failed. So hope you enjoyed the report. Thank you very much.